Sir, I am a huge fan of your work. I'm absolutely thrilled to be talking with you today.
Right, thank you so much.
I just wish I had more time. So in the future, a million questions for you. Yeah. There's going to be people out there that have never seen one of your movies. If they haven't, what is the first film you would like them watching and why?
Wow. Well, they could start with Ferrari, then maybe they should go to Heat, then from that they go to Last of the Mohicans, and then they should go to Insider, and then they should come back to Ferrari and see the second time.
Right. How do you feel when a journalist sitting across from you at a junket is wearing a bootleg shirt from one of your movies?
I think it's very ironic because I've been asked a whole bunch of questions that in Heat, the coffee shop scene, which by the way is an event that really occurred in real life, when Al and Bob were facing each other, for some reason there was some rumor that they weren't actually there at the same time. I don't know why anybody thought that. And what it was, there's actually 3 cameras, and what you're wearing on your chest is what the third camera was shooting, which is the Profile 2 shot. But I never used it because every time I went to that shot, it removed us and made us observers of the 2 men instead of being empathetically, subjectively inside that dialogue. So I always only use the 2 overs because everything we did was at the simultaneous. I had 2 cameras set up just out of reach, just out of sight of each other, shooting that scene.
I could ask you literally an hour worth of questions about this movie, but I am curious. I'm fascinated by the editing process because it's where it all comes together.
Right.
Which of your films changed the most in the editing room in ways you didn't expect going in?
None of them. It's what the film is supposed to do to you, and by the end, and then what the end of the third act is supposed to do to set up the end, and the end of the second act to set up the third act. That's engraved in stone, and so the editing is to realize that overall writing objective. So I'm a big believer in story structure. It almost as if you could take the totally organic, subjective experience of seeing a movie and put it under an X-ray machine. You'll see the bone. There's a structure like a skeleton. If that's broken, then the movie's not going to work. And so the objective, how I want you to feel, I want you to feel suspense. I want you to feel the irresolution, like in Ferrari, of what the hell's going to happen. Is he going to, is the Mille Miglia, this 1,000-mile race across all of Italy, across all kinds of crazy roads, through cities, through towns, is Ferrari going to win or not win? And then there's a double ending to that. There's a tragedy and a triumph simultaneously. And he may be ruined, and he's got a confrontation with his wife. And so that sense of a resolution, that is absolutely has to be achieved. And so when I shoot it, I'm trying to achieve it in a shooting and make sure I have it there. But everything comes together ultimately in the editing room. And that's where it's, and so, that's where we try to deliver it. And then again, when I'm mixing the sounds, the music and effects and everything else.
Man, I have so many questions about Ferrari, but I guess ultimately, what was it about this material and this story that said, I absolutely need to make this?
The real people, and that it resonated so strongly with this is life. This is how life really is. It's complex. It's complicated. It's a man with a wife who's in mourning because they both lost their son Dino a year ago. And meanwhile, he has a completely second family that most of Modena knows about, but his wife doesn't. And that happened during the chaos of the end of the Second World War, and he has a 12-year-old illegitimate son. He's bound and has a connection to his wife they're inseparable, but they can't live together and they can't live apart. And he also only is at home with Lina Lardi and his son Piero. And these kind of irresolved conflicts, the movie is filled with that. So it's so atypical of the kind of formulaic way characters are sometimes built and dramas play out. So it was that quality about it, and it's all true. And it all happens to collide in these 3 or 4 intense months in 1957, where the future of the factory is riding on this race. Drivers he's close to are killed. The death rate during that period of time was horrendous. It was about 50%. So but all of those, that was unique. But it's a unique story. Basically, It's a deep dive behind the iconic inscrutable facade of Enzo Ferrari into all of the technicolor and melodrama, that's really going on in his life.
Sir, I really want to thank you for all of your films and your work, and thank you so much for talking with me
Thanks.
today.
My pleasure.